Harrison Meagher is a spiritual love coach and an intuitive healer. He shares his powerful, energetic frequency with those who tune into his podcast and absorb the profound messages of love and poetic connection in his publication, Cosmic Love Antenna. I actually just got this book and I'm going to feature it right here. I am reading this book. I literally just got it in the mail. And I encourage you to get it as well, because if you have not tuned into his podcasts, that is another intersect that I strongly recommend that you make with Harrison Meagher. His publication, Cosmic Love Antenna, his recently released book, is entirely inspired by his transformative podcast. Harrison invites you to let him walk you home to love. I personally have had powerful inner child revelations very recently while syncing my own empathic awareness with his incredibly expansive and healing concepts of self-love and how to access that self-love in the spaces between the words that you use. Harrison speaks with a voice that penetrates your resistance that you hold around your own infinite heart space, while simultaneously soothing your nervous system to then activate your subconscious. It creates a vulnerability inside of you for the love that you have always innately been to surge through that. It emerges the love that you are effervescently and joyfully into this world, connecting to the love that has always been there for you to readily access. Please join me in welcoming our final contributor for the Soul Tingle Spring 2023, Harrison Meagher. There he is.
Good morning. Good morning, my friend. Well, I feel like I don't have to say anything. That beautiful intro and that description, in itself, I just want to honor you, my friend. And, I'm just joining. I'm about half an hour in, connecting to the field, to everyone that's here. I'm really impressed with not just how you're showing up, but how everyone is showing up with their hearts wide open. And I guess maybe that's where I can start here, Jenna, and sharing myself with everyone. You made a very interesting point around me asking for you to be present while I share. And I think you outlined it beautifully, but let me add in an extra piece, because I think that in itself can give a lot of value to everyone tuning in. I grew up as a little boy that suppressed a lot of his emotions, suppressed a lot of his, not just his voice, but his sensitivities. And a big reason for that is because we have grown up in a world where if you're in a male body, you're taught that being sensitive is too feminine, too girly. If you're in a female body, if you're being sensitive, you're too much. And not only is this innately incorrect, as I'm sure every single person here knows very deeply, but when we are present in our fullness, in this case, in our sensitivities, it gives permission for others to do the same. So when we hold intentional space, like you were saying, it allows and draws out that which wants to be expressed, right? And whether we have wounds and stories and beliefs and trauma, as we all do on top, that's important to see. But I've noticed, Jenna, and this is really what I want to encourage everyone to sort of open to, is that force inside of you that wants to be expressed is powerful beyond all measure. And whatever the karma, whatever the wound, whatever the inner child challenge, whatever the ancestral chain, whatever the piece of the day that you're moving through, the power of your baseline bliss or your love frequency or your grace, however you want to call it, your divinity, it doesn't have restriction. It is unbounded. So I share all of that to really encourage everyone here that, while we finish this tingle and as you go out into your day, where can you create that space with the interactions that you have? And, and I get goosebumps as I share this. It's not a gaining of anything. It's not I need to go talk with Jenna and create that. It's not a creating. It's a showing up and being it. It's a showing up and just, as you beautifully said, intentionally sharing your presence with another so they can do the same.
I got soul tingles all over everywhere, and then some, Harrison. I've been connecting to your field for some time, and I think that this event was confusing for many in the beginning stages of me explaining what it was. I was intentionally creating and what I was seeing in my mind's eye field of vision, and just having this entire experience play out in the way that it is, and having everyone sync up to co-create that into a reality I can't even express with words. It truly is the space between the words.
Well, let's talk about this. So, yes, it's the space, but let's add something else to this. Let's sprinkle in some more magic here. So, this is something I'm going through right now in my life, and we all move through it, but I'm very acutely learning the lessons of it. And it is the difference between free will and divine will, right? And we have both, right? We have our human free will, where we can choose the life that we wish to live. However, most of us within that free will are choosing from our traumas, our conditioning, our programming, all the things. Or we can open up our heart, we can open up our channel, we can connect to our frequency of love, we can connect to our guides, all the things that we do in our spiritual practices, and we can allow the divine will to move through us. And that divine will is exactly what you just highlighted, Jenna. It's, I need to do this. I need to create this space. I need to make this tingle. I don't know how it's going to look. I don't know who's going to show up. I don't know what's going to be expressed, but I know in my heart, there is something here. There is something here, not just for me as the individual, as Jenna or Harrison. And this is probably the coolest part. There is something to evolve through together. And I want to share this because I have a lot of people in the work that I do ask me about, how do I connect to my purpose? Or what is my purpose? What is my spiritual purpose? Why am I here? This is a question we all ask. And I would answer that question in two ways. I would answer that question as, your first purpose is remembering what you are, right? Remembering that divinity, that God, goddess, that divine source of love that you are. That's purpose one. But then once that connection is made, often in that space that's created that we just spoke about, you then have the choice, and this is where the free will and divine will comes in, you then have the choice to export that purpose, export that divinity, export that love to the highest good of the time for the collective evolution. And that's what you did, Jenna.
I am so grateful for you. You're able to discern and to articulate exactly what I've been feeling, and have had so much trouble, so much challenge articulating that. And this is coming from my background. I mean, I know you just recently joined us, but I hope you'll tune into the replay. Like, everyone has been talking about my way with words and I have a copywriting experience. I do have a way with words, but I haven't been able to put into words what I have been intending with this event and with all of my work as succinctly and as divine as you just did.
Yeah. And let me give you some love for this, Jenna, because you're not alone in what you just outlined, right? I explained to you, and I share this with everyone watching, you know, in the book that you just so lovingly promoted and showed. For a very long, that book has been inside me for a very long time. You ask my beautiful mother, and she would have said 10 years ago I needed to get that done. And the reason I didn't do it is the reason that you just outlined, is because I didn't think I was a writer. I didn't think I had the words. I didn't think I could put it in the structure that was correct. And I'm using my fingers all the time here because all of those words are subjective. All of those beliefs and stories, because that's what they are, we have the choice of believing them or not. So, you know, I share this for you, Jenna, and also everyone tuning in. Yes, the words are important. Yes, the words hold the frequency. But we need to allow the frequency through first. Right? The frequency is what's most important. The frequency that is in the words, right? I'll give an example. It'd be very easy for me to explain right now everything that I'm speaking about from my mind, from my lower mind, from all the things that I've read, all the gurus that I've listened to, all the YouTube videos that I've watched. It'd be very easy for me to explain all those things and intellectually articulate it. But it would feel very different, right? I'm reading the comments that are coming through. Karima writes, Harrison, your voice births such a soothing, safe space. The reason for that is I'm not thinking, right? I'm not allowing the mind, which we need to love. We don't want to kill it. We don't want to destroy it or push it into a corner. But we need to make the conscious choice to fill our channel, whether that be words, movement, writing, dance, singing, whatever it is. We need to make the conscious choice to fill that channel with our unique frequency. And if we can do that, that's 99% of the work.
I love it. That's so true, because there are so many times when I am, you know, when you get bogged down and there have been a few times in the creation of this event where you get bogged down in that headspace, and it becomes like a work that's not divine, a work that's not aligned, and it starts to feel like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Am I doing the right thing? But then whenever we're able to reconnect and recalibrate into that divine, what did you call it? It's like there's free will, and then there's divine will.
Divine will.
I love that, because it's so true. When I get out of my headspace and I stop the thinking from happening and I simply let it flow, there's a higher sequencing, there's a higher power, force that is flowing through us all. And whenever we succumb and we just completely allow ourselves to become the vessel of that, it becomes so effortless, and it looks like an illusion, like we're doing it, right? It looks like that to everyone else.
Let me add in one more tip here, because I feel this is giving a lot of value to people watching. Another way that we can open that state that you just beautifully highlighted, right? Because we all want to be there, that you just described. We want to be there for most of our day. I've noticed one of the best ways to open that divine will state, or open our heart, or, you know, as Adam says, yes, coming from intuition, our heart is so essential, right? One of the best ways to drop into our heart and to allow this state of consciousness forward, I call it your love frequency or your love consciousness, is to love ourselves equally when we are not in that state. So when we do get taken away by the mind, when we do get taken away by our stories, when we do get taken away by the inner child people pleaser, or the inner child abandonment wound, or the inner child, you know, insert all of the things, the way I refer to this as holding the child. right? The way back to our love frequency is through the pain that we're currently lost in, right? So whether that is a story, whether that is a belief, whether that is a karmic debt or wound, the way through is not just through the pain, but by loving ourselves equally in that moment as we would in the moment where we're expanded in our love frequency.
We are ending on a seriously aligned note here, Harrison. Like you're giving us all soul tingles simultaneously, which is the true purpose of this event today. And for that, I'll be forever grateful to you. I will never, ever in my entire life forget this very first soul tingle. And you and everyone today have done so much. Like we have collaboratively interconnected for this co-creation of spirit-led work that really only strengthens and heightens the magnanimity of the power that it is creating for this frequency we are all holding here on planet Earth in divine time.
I could not have said it better myself, my friend. And maybe I'll end with just showering you with some more love here. You know, this is an example of what you have created, that we're all a part of, that we're here together in. It shows the power of our manifestation ability, right? It shows the power that, you know, this isn't the realization of this event. The realization of this event has already happened in your head, in your heart. Right? It already happened. This is second. This is the shadow of the thing that already occurred in your heart. So I guess the last thing I'll leave everyone with is when we start manifesting from our hearts instead of our heads, right? The head that gets stuck in money and numbers and attachment expectations, rather dropping into our heart space and manifesting from there, you know, there's nothing that's not possible, right? Nothing that we can't do. And if there is a can't, if there is a shouldn't, if there is a I'm not enough, then that's an illusion that we can love and take us back to that same manifestation.
I am so excited. I'm so excited right now. I have no words. There are no words to describe exactly how it is that I feel in this now moment with you and with all of you joining us live for the replay, backstage. We're all in it together. And I will be eternally grateful for this beautiful event. I couldn't have asked for a more exciting, amazing, igniting 38th birthday. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Wow. All right. We had a soul tingle, y'all. We had a soul tingle that, I mean, my soul is going to be tingling for days from this.